that was about as productive as a halfling bard serenading an iron golem's buttocks. Should have known than to go better trudging head first into the biggest layer of red tape this side of Mechanus. But I ain't giving up. I've got some friends in the fraternity of order. Everybody hates a bleeding lawyer until you need one, but there's skullduggery afoot here, says I, and I ain't gonna let 'em take... Who in the name of Tiamat Scaly Honeypot are you? Can't you read the sign on the door? Tavern ain't open yet, mate.
They can't take it from you anymore, now that it's chosen this place.
You're that elf bloke who done bled all over me floor. Well, I'm happy to see you done healed up, but if you would be so kind to gather up your bloody talking book, I would...
I can't.
You can't what? Take the book? Well, why in the nine hells not?
Like I said, it's chosen this place. This exact spot.
Look, mate, I know we're sitting in the city of doors, and the bugger who done sold me this place said it was special, but it's just a building, like any other. Yeah, I know maybe I hyped up the whole crossroads of reality thing on the brochure, but...
Tell me, what happened on the day you found the book?
Well, you got clobbered over the head, and I dragged you in here, dabbed some salve on you, and then you got up and ran out of here like your boots was on fire.
You see, I remember it very differently, which, to be honest, is a hazard of my particular duties. You see, Pellinor, I've been trying to avoid this place for years. I've been trying to keep that book away from this spot. But imagine that you are bobbing in the ocean, trying desperately to stop the currents from pushing you in a certain direction. You can struggle, you can fight against the tides, but eventually you will lose.
Well, I'll admit the place isn't shined up the way I want it to be. But that ain't no reason to avoid it like it's dripping with mummy rot. Why are you trying so hard to keep away?
Because I am the keeper of the Codex of Fate. That book is an infinite scripture of everything that ever was, is, or will be. It sits as a monument to destiny, a testament of the fates. And like fate, it is fickle.
Certainly don't seem big enough for all that. Look, friend, I don't want any trouble. And I'm not exactly the type of guy to keep multiverse-changing thingamajigs in me tavern, so please, take your book and be on your merry way.
I'm afraid that's no longer an option. But please try. Take the book. Walk out your front door.
Fine. I'll just put it outside on me front step. Then it won't be me problem anymore. What in the name of Mistress Creamy Toes is going on? Am I trapped in my own place by a book?
Not you, Pell. Just the book. It is trapped here, but it wants to be trapped here. You see, I remember the other day quite differently. I have been wandering the plains for years, knowing I needed to keep that book away from the very spot you and I are standing. But despite my best efforts, a series of unplanned, random events forced me to inch ever closer to the exact spot we are now. A fallen log here, a misrouted portal there, 1,000 tiny pushes until finally, despite my best efforts, an angry mob riding over the price of turnips literally made the final push, and I stumbled over a very distinct physical line in space. Once I had crossed that line, the book had complete control over its own fate, its own timeline, if you will. You see, it would have been very simple and very possible for that book to have stayed inside my cloak whilst you were dragging me across the floor of your tavern. And in one timeline, that is exactly what happened. And in fact, that is exactly what I remember. However, in this place, this book has the power to blur timelines. And that is exactly what it did. It stacked two timelines on top of each other, so that would be left here in this place, and I would never be the wiser. It took me 2 days to realize the book had finally been able to perform a timeline shift, and that's when I knew it had finally reached its destination. After I realized that, I backtracked here, found the book quietly sitting on your bar. Don't worry, friend. The book is not malicious, any more than fate itself is malicious. However, timelines are a tricky thing, and having even one small section of the multiverse where outcomes are in flux brings complications. And that small section just happens to be where your tavern is built.
Wait. So that halfling realtor and the merchant who paid for this dump weren't just blowing dragon fire up me bum?
I have no doubt that even from afar, the Codex of Fate set those events into motion, the same as it used my own free will against me by steering me here. You see, destiny and free will are not two things that exactly go together, but that will be a conversation for the future.
What do you mean, the future? I've got a grand opening to get to in a couple of days. I ain't got time for this philosophical mishmash. Please just take that there Codex thingy with you. I'll even get you free drinks for a year. This just ain't something I'm ready to deal with.
Ha! We are rarely ready when fate throws a wrench into the wheels of destiny. And that book, my friend, is the biggest wrench in all of the multiverse. But fear not, it is my sworn duty to see to it that book does as little damage on the multiversal timelines as possible. So, consider me your loyal employee. Pouring drinks and doling out bowls of stew would seem like a nice respite from wandering the plains for a bit.
What? No. You ain't got the bosoms for waiting tables, fella. I mean, you seems like a strapping enough lad, but I don't know anything about you. Bugger me, you could be laying it on me thick as a yellow ooze, and I wouldn't have no idea what you're about.
Trust me, Pellinor. That book is not going to leave this tavern until it is good and ready to do so. And until it does, things around here are going to be very interesting. You're going to need someone to guide you through those twists and turns, as you will very clearly see. So, barmaid, bouncer, housekeeper, lawmaster, guide, I shall be whatever is required.
Oh, orcs and oranges, why me? I ain't suited for a thing like this.
Don't worry, friend. That's the thing with fate. There is only one thing it is required to do, and that's to reveal itself eventually. I have so much to tell you if we're going to be successful in navigating not only the pathways of fate, but the meddling of the Codex as well. I'll explain more to you later, but for now, we have a grand opening to prepare for.
Bugger all, fine then. Sometimes I can barely find 3 hairs to comb over me head, but if this is what it takes to get this tavern up and running, then I'm in. Come on, Twiggle just dropped off the cakes from Granite Shard. You can help me set them up.
Everything unfolds as fate is written, but the cloth shall be mine to cut. I have so many wonderful things planned for all of you.